contact me, okay, on purpose, okay, because they had her under the gun. They had her on all kinds of different charges. And, you know, when she called, I did check her out to a certain extent. When she called, she didn't get me on the phone. She got one of the phone people and said that she wanted to do business with us. And, you know, she could send a lot of clients to us from a lot of Hollywood types and big wigs and whatnot that come to Vegas every weekend. And, you know, we could make a deal and sort of split up the profits. And, you know, and me, I you know, I don't, you know, I take everything, you know, with a grain of salt. That I said, well, you know, tell her that nobody's around and tell her to call back maybe in a week or so. All right, and we'll see if she's serious and this and that, you know, we'll talk. So in the meantime, I put out feelers and I find out, yeah, it's true that the names of the places she gave, they existed in L.A. In fact, there was one working girl that worked in Vegas that knew her and said, oh, yeah, she's definitely legit. Don't worry about her. You know?
So you set up a meeting with her.
So then a meeting was set up, yeah. I told her at that time the Desert Inn was still open. You remember that place, right?
I do indeed.
Okay. And there was a bar, like you'd come in through the side, and you go past the sports book, and there was a bar there on the left before you actually, you know, before you passed your first slot machine. And that's where, you know, she was supposed to meet me. So I'm waiting by the bar, you know, and I don't see nobody. So, you know, I'm getting antsy. I'm not really a big drinker. I don't want to hang at the bar drinking club soda. So I told the bartender, I said, I'll be over here by this slot machine over here. I says, if this woman, her name is so-and-so, and she's looking for somebody named Tony, you know, tell them over here by the slot machine right here. So I go over, I throw it like $100 in the slot machine, and I start, you know, whacking it out. And I'm getting it up, though. Things up to like $400, $500. Next thing I know, I get that familiar tap on my shoulder, you know. And I know right away. I turn around, and there he is with his little star. And I said, yeah, okay, who are you, the Lone Ranger? And he starts telling me his name, and then he's got a group of guys around me. And then there's this poor guy that's standing over there just looking. You know, he's playing at the slot machine, and they grab him. I don't even know the guy. And they grab him. Says, you're with him, aren't you? And they're ready to cuff this guy. I'm saying, I don't even know this guy, an Oriental guy. I says, this guy's probably never going to come back to Vegas again, this guy. I says, I don't know this guy. He doesn't know me. So finally they let him go. And they told me I'm under arrest for this, for pandering, this and that. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Then he asked me, do we have permission to search your room? I says, absolutely not. I says, no. I says, the only person I want to talk to is my attorney. That's all. And, you know, they get me out in the car. They had like a Camaro. It was very low to the ground. I remember them throwing me in there.
So it was an undercover car?
Yeah, it was an undercover cop car. It had a radio in it. It had a radio in the car, so they must have been, who knows, some car that they robbed somewhere, somebody. And anyway, they stuck a radio in it. It was theirs now. And they get in, and two of them in the back seat, and, you know, the other guy's in the front. They arrest me and everything else. Well, first they set up the place, too. Of course, they arrested, you know, they called, like, you know, from the MGM Grand there. You know, and they had a couple of girls sent over, so, you know, just so they could consummate this whole thing, you know, a little bit. But I didn't know these girls couldn't point a finger at me anyway. So they were losers right there. But anyway, so they're in the car and we're driving down. And this idiot in the back taps me on the shoulder and goes, you know something, you know, these girls weren't really good looking. I says, well, we try to match up the girls with the guys, you know. We send ugly girls to ugly guys that look like dogs. We try to send them dogs, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, they got to love that.
Yeah, no, they weren't too happy with that. He goes, well, they weren't really too good looking. I says, well, a lot of good looking girls gravitate towards me. I mean, your problem is maybe that you look like, you know, you look like a troll or something. You know, that's probably your problem. So they keep doing that, you know. See, they didn't know how to take me because they weren't used to that, you know. Because in New York, the cops pick you up. That banter goes on all the time between you and the cops, you know. So I feel a beating coming. I know it's coming because this guy's getting red. You can see it. I mean, even in the dark, you can see this guy glowing red, you know, in the back seat. He he was in charge of the whole thing. But anyway, then the guy in the front seat starts telling me about how he's from, I'm from Ozone Park, and, I'm originally from Ozone Park, Queens.
Ozone Park is John Gotti territory, right?
Yeah, that's the Gambino. That's pretty much, where John Gotti sat on his throne there, yeah. And he was trying to, you know how things are done. Come on, I know how things are done, too. You should, we're entitled to a taste. I said, you're entitled to a taste of what? I said, what do you want me to buy you a pizza or something? What are you talking about? And he says to me, come on, you know what we're talking about. I mean, you want to do business in this town, you do business with us, and everything is fine. We make everything go away. Everything is fine. I says, what are you trying to say? I try to keep getting more out of him. He goes, well, we'll take care of you, for a little piece of the place. I said, oh, you want to be my partner? I says, well, anytime I had partners in the past, they always put up their money. I says, you got any money to put up? So they got me more pissed off. So I was getting them more pissed off on the ride all the way down from the Desert Inn down there. And I guess it was unfortunate for me. We got stuck in a little bit of traffic because that caused them to get more pissed off because I kept hitting them with the Panther. So we got down there, and we pull into the Clark County Detention Center, and they park in a corner over there. And, I couldn't get out of the car. It was one of those Camaros. And if you're handcuffed, you got to be like a contortionist to really get out of the car by yourself, because you're like, you're sitting back in the thing. I told the guy, want to give me a hand out? He said, sure. He gives me a hand out, and he throws me to the floor. And he goes to work on me with his pointy cowboy boots, And, and I kept, of course, I don't like it, but I'm still pissed off. And I tell him, oh, do all cops do they all kick like little girls? And he kicks me again. I said, ooh, could I have another? And he kicks me again. So I was pissing him off all the way in. So I knew they were gonna mash me up too bad. I know I was gonna take some shots to the body because, but I know I wasn't gonna take any to the head or the face or anything. That wouldn't look good when they took my pictures in there. So they brought me in there and they stuck me in some room with blue phones and about 90 guys in there. And about enough seating for about 20, And I was in there for probably around 42 hours before the lawyer went to the judge, got the bail lowered and everything, and I finally got out.
So these cops first try to shake you down, then they beat you up.
Yeah.
So that you pretty much decide there. Well, I'm going to need some help on this.
Oh yeah. Nah, and of course you're not going to go. Let me tell you, you don't keep. Wise guys only can protect you from their own kind. You tell them you got a problem with cops shaking you down, they're going to run into the woods like little squirrels. They don't want no part of that, and they ain't going to want to hear it. So, you check your options again. So I told the feds about it. Told them what's going on with this. And unfortunately, that this guy had to get his head drilled out. All right, and they were starting to drill because the investigation definitely would have led to,
bigger targets.
Yeah, it would have led to bigger targets. They were already in communication, okay, with the police.
All right, hold on a second. We'll pick up the story when we come back, and we'll talk about the entry of a character known as Vinnie Aspirin. Stick around, everyone. I'm George Knapp on Coast to Coast AM. What our guest tonight, the mob associate formerly known as Tony Nastasi, found himself in when he agreed to cooperate with the FBI investigating mob escort services in New York and FBI because somebody new was about to enter Tony Nastasi's life. He has a nickname of Vinnie Aspirin. And how does a guy get the nickname of Vinnie Aspirin? Well, when the mob had a headache, Vinnie Aspirin made it go away. He was reputed to be an expert in torture, used a power drill, his tool of choice to get information out of folks. And when we come back after this short break, we're going to tell you how Tony Nastasi became associated with this guy and what happened. So stick around, everyone. The story's just getting good. This is Coast to Coast AM. Everyone, we're talking with Tony Nastasi about his assistance given to the FBI after the mafia was trying to take over the escort service business in Las Vegas. Okay, had you ever heard of this guy named Vinnie Aspirin before?
Yeah, he was a guy that would handle some problems. If you needed a piece of work done, he would come in and take care of it.
His real name was Vinnie Congiusti.